Hey everyone, it is Natalie from Being Intentionally Creative. Today we are going to be going into Halloween, and why not? For any of you who go to Michael's, you may or may not in your stores, but I know in mine, they're already bringing out their Christmas trees for the season that is upcoming. They've got, well, Halloween's been out for how many weeks now? I can't keep up. It's so interesting. If I make stuff for a certain season, I'm usually doing it like 2 or 3 weeks before, and meanwhile the stores, and I appreciate why they do it. It just, I can't keep up. It's like my vegetable garden. I can't keep up with it either. It's so far ahead of me, it isn't even funny anymore. What are we going to be doing now that I've rambled on long enough? All right, was in Michael's, and I found these cool Makery Halloween silicone candy molds. And I picked up, I'm not sure which way, but I'll show you here. So we have pumpkin bats, which look kind of cool. I love buying these to do resin and ceramic resin in. I want to make these into earrings. I also picked up these cute little pumpkins. And I had kind of thought to myself, so what are we going to do with these? Like, are we going to just do them in resin, or are we going to do them in ceramic resin? Are we going to do them in polyurethane? And I'm thinking what I might attempt to do in this video is, for sure I want to do polyurethane, and I want to do ceramic resin. Now the ceramic resin, as I'm looking at my pumpkin bats, might be a little more challenging, but I think we'll give them a go anyway. I mean, if the space is open, I think enough, except for maybe this part here at the top, that we might be okay in getting them out. And the trick will be, for me, is to leave them in longer than normal. And you know that's my process most of the time anyway. But I thought it might be cool to make them, because then we can paint them. I know, I don't show me painting them on camera, but that's okay too. These guys I definitely want to make into earrings, and I don't want to make them very thick, although depending on what you were using them for, obviously you could. And I forgot to clean this off, and I still had remnants of the moss that I was using to give you ideas for the nests that I'd done with my bird. So I'm going to have to clean that out a lot before we get going on that. But I was really curious about making these into earrings, because I think they look kind of cool. I have out my chrome powder by Let's Resin, because if I'm going to use the polyurethane, I want these to stand out. And I know the one piece I had made using the polyurethane, like, just blew my mind how good it looked with the black backing on it. Like, I just blew my mind. And I thought it might be cool to do that with these Halloween pieces. So I think what we're going to do is we'll do these in sort of sections. We'll do the polyurethane first, and then I think we'll do some ceramic resin. I kind of want to do 2-part epoxy resin as well, but I'm not fully there yet with that. But if we can do the two, that might be pretty cool. And then the other thing I was thinking about, I'd gotten this piece out the last time, was it when I did it was when I did the bird's nest, because I wasn't sure about how much of the ceramic resin I would have left. But because this is sitting out, this is actually kind of a cool mold. And what I might do is do it as well using the chrome powders and the polyurethane, and sort of doing a variety, because this has got like indents in it. So I think we could have some fun doing that. I won't bore you with the details of, doing the powder on the video, or I might do a little bit of it. And then these guys, I did want to use the chrome, because I thought again, they're Halloween. I want them to look a little eerie. It would be very cool, I will not lie, it would be very cool if we had a chrome powder, and my brain's sort of thinking with some of the other chromes I've got, but I don't believe I have an orange. I'll go have a look. But a chrome in an orange would look very, of course, for the time of year. And then if we were to do chrome I believe Let's Resin now has some additional chrome powders out, and they have a black. So what would be sort of cool would be if we had an orange and then did the wings black. And I figured if I made these into earrings, then what I would do is they would go on their side so when it hung. So think of this one. We would put some sort of hanger here so that they would hang down. These might be a little too big to have as earrings, but I kind of like the idea of having them as earrings. So we'll have to see just how big they look at the end. So I'm going to let you go for a little bit while I clean up these molds, take them out of these packages. I'll do a little bit of the chrome masking, and I'll see too if I have anything remotely orange. I don't have a black chrome. A black chrome would be kind of cool, but anyway, let me go have a look at some of my other colors. We will be back. All right, I have decided on my colors. I have already done this Christmas piece up with the gold, the green, the silver, and the red. And I've got a flake of something in that. I don't know exactly what it is, but that's okay. And I also, on the outside, I've got some Gel Moment. This is a nail product that I got a long time ago, and I put it around the edges when I say like the inside edges. So I'll have to see how that comes out. I don't have an orange or a black. I did go online and I looked a little bit at what Let's Resin has on the Amazon.com site. I couldn't find the newer package that Let's Resin has out. I didn't go to their specifically to their website, and I just thought, you know what, we'll make do with what we have. I might go and see. I have a friend who sells the Gel Moment. I might just go in and see if they don't have a black or an orange. I want a chrome. Because I don't have those, I've just decided I'll work with what I have. For the pumpkin bats, I have decided to do red for the pumpkin and silver for the actual wings. And for the pumpkins, I have decided to go with the purple, the rose red, and the holographic pink. And I'm going to do them from the darkest color down to the lightest color. We're going to start with the polyurethane. I believe that when I've done these kind of molds in the past, they've taken about 10 mils each. So I figure, and that might be too much. And if I have some left over, we'll just pour it into one of the others and just have a black pieces. And we'll see where, maybe what I'll do is I'll balance them between the two, and we can end up with, you know, one of each. And I'm not against wearing two different earrings. And like, I'm totally cool with that. So what we'll do is, I haven't colored these guys in at all. I just did the ornament. So we'll do this. I think I'm going to do the red first, and I'm going to do these two. I sometimes find, now you can easily put something under this to kind of lift it up, but it kind of bends down a little bit. So I'm going to stick with these two. And I thought, you know what? I don't do a lot of coloring with you guys online anymore. And I thought, well, we'll just do it. We'll do it together. This won't take me very long. And we'll flip this around in a moment once I think I have it done. And some of the stuff I had looked at on the Amazon.com, I had thought about buying it, and I thought, nah. You have enough stuff, Natalie. Let's not add to it. So I have not. I'm going to make that red too. Let's get a little bit more of this on here. Try not to spray it too far. Easily done though with it. Much of the stuff, isn't it, that you can just end up with it everywhere. I think these are going to look cool. That's the plan anyway, right? That's what we always anticipate, is that everything's going to look cool. And I'm using this to clean out my colors. It's doing a pretty decent job. As long as it gets, enough out that you can, put the next color in and not contaminate, which I'm not saying I don't a little bit, but that's okay. So I hope everyone's having a good, well, we are in Canada here. I think everyone is now officially back to school. So that's pretty cool. I did look on the 3rd, because I thought everyone was going back on the 2nd, I actually found some places that weren't going back on the 3rd because of a professional development day, which I have to admit, and I have been out of school for a very long time, and I don't remember having as many professional development days as what the kids do now. And so I found it, I found it humorous that there were some people that weren't going back to school until the 3rd. I don't know whether that happens down in the States or not, but I just find it very, very interesting up here for the number of days they get now versus, the number of days I would have had when I was growing up. Again, going back a very long time. I'm thinking as I'm putting this silver on here, I really don't mind if we have some black showing through. And this holographic silver might look really kind of cool for the bat wings. Like I said, I kind of wanted black because I thought black might look more interesting, but this silver might do a nice job. So we shall see. And if you can hear buzzing in the background, that's just my phone. I get better at not, leaving it on. Although I'm learning that I really want it out of my room. I cannot handle much social media anymore. Just because of the stories that are out there. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but yeah, it's hard some days to look at the stories and you got to wonder, what's real anymore? Is it is what's being posted real, or is someone just trying to, get people incensed by, if I post this, I'll get traction and this, that, and the other thing. And for people who do spend a lot of time online, I think that's very, very unfair to do that. I'll show you these guys. They actually look kind of cool right now. And I'll put my lids back on so I don't accidentally knock them off the side. So the holographic silver and the red on my pumpkin bats. They're kind of cool. They had some other neat molds, and one of the other ones they've got there are really big skull heads, like the bigger molds. Like these are the small ones, but the bigger molds, and there's 6 in the container. They're quite big, and I thought, they might be kind of interesting to do. I might pick it up. I haven't decided. They've got a 40% off coupon right now. So I'm kind of, sitting on the fence. Do I want to do that? And then there's another one they have that's the front of a house, and it's a Halloween house. It's got a pumpkin out front and a couple other things on it, and it's really cute. So I haven't decided well, they say they don't have any in my store. However, I was just in there and they had, 2 or 3 of them. So I may just have to go back in and see, because I thought, well, maybe the skull isn't such a bad idea to have. So we'll see. We shall see. So anyone else in the Halloween spirit, or have some of you jumped straight to Christmas? I gotta say, I won't get to Christmas until close to Christmas. And I still have to design my Christmas cards. I haven't even started that. And I really need to get on the ball for my Christmas cards. That's one thing I do like watching is on Facebook when I get the craft videos that come up. I like watching those. And YouTube obviously is a great place to get some ideas for Christmas, whether you're making cards, whether you're doing pieces like this, what have you. It's, yeah, that kind of stuff I enjoy watching very much, because you never know the ideas you're going to get from it. Yeah. I I think these are going to look cool. I have a big pumpkin. I think this is a Let's Resin. That's a 3-tier pumpkin, 3D. And I might have done a video on it last year. And then I did some decorating on it and some decoupage. It really didn't come out the way I wanted it, but it is kind of a funky looking piece that catches my attention when I walk in my other room. Now we have some oversplash. I'm not going to worry about that because I kind of think Halloween's not meant to be neat and tidy. I don't think Halloween's meant to be, you know, Halloween. Yeah, don't you like how I did that? Couldn't think of a word, so it's Halloween's meant to be Halloween. Yeah, so I'll let, you could do these glow in the dark too, depending on what you wanted to do with them. When I picked them up at the Michael's store, the checkout lady was talking to me about this and how, you know, she uses them for soaps sometimes, depending on what she's wanting to make. And I said, well, I'm intending to make earrings out of resin with these. And the only reason I was sort of hesitating on the whole ceramic resin was the fact of the weight of them. Because, yes, we know they'll dry out, the water will dry out of them, but they still might be a little too heavy. However, we shall see. We'll do them in ceramic resin anyway, just because I can, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so we did the purple. That's not the purple. So we did the purple, the rose red. I love this one. That is of all of these, that's my favorite. And then we've got the holographic pink. So let's just, you know, dot these out as such. Get the excess off. So that's what we're looking at for that. Okay. And then for this, and that's what these guys look like. I think these might look really cool. So I'm kind of excited about those ones. All right, let's just get these things put back, and I'll put those down so I don't forget what I put where. Okay. Now, get that off to the side. Just clean this up a little bit. I guess you can, I don't know how often you're supposed to clean this out. If anyone knows, just put it in the, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter, but if anyone has one and has been, you know, how often do you clean it out? All right, I have one black glove. I haven't replaced the other one, so I'm just going to put one of my blacks on and one of my pinks. Like the black ones are not near as tight as what the pink one is. Plug in my camera. There we go. I haven't done anything with the polyurethane in a fair chunk of time, so this will be fun. I've got, you know what, I will just use this. I wasn't going to use this one. I'm wondering, as I talk my way through this, I got a couple of these left, so we'll just use those for right now. I normally don't measure my resin on line either, so let me just think about this. I guess I'll do 40 and see where we end up with this. And I'm trying to remember if 40 will be enough for the big one. Maybe I'll have to do 60 for that, because I can't remember. So yes, it's been a long time since I don't think I've actually ever measured my resin online with you guys watching. So again, I'm not one of these people who can just pour and hope for the best. I actually have to make sure that we're at least eye level. I do use the lines on the cup. Yes, I do. But I also then, oops, I don't like when it does this. Don't you hate when this stuff does it? Ugh. There we go. This stuff tends to get gritty on the inside of the cap, so I'll have to clean that up. All right, let's do this, and then do this. No. This stuff just... Okay, let's turn that around because I really don't want to catch that. All right. Backing up, trying not to lose anything this way. I have to get rid of some of that number B. It's got a little too much in that. Yep, spilling that all over the place. This will be one of my longer videos. Yeah, pour spouts on these would be kind of cool. I know you can get the pumps. I don't have them, and I should check to see if I can just get them. But my concern is like if the openings are the same size on all of them, and they may not be, and then you can only use it for one and not the other. Not quite. Okay, I'll take a little bit more out of B. Let's just do that. Shit. Sorry, I swore. My apologies. This is probably why I don't do this online, right? Oops. Just imagine I said sugar plum fairies, okay? There's a very silent bad word, but I still said it nonetheless, so I apologize for that. Okay, we should be good on that. I'm not going to put that back on. I'll just place it on. And all I need to do is remember that I've actually done that. Alrighty then. So are any of you working with the black polyurethane? Have you got it? Have you done anything with it? Or are you still doing the two-part epoxy when it comes to doing your black? I'd be kind of curious about that. I know they've got, this is Alumilite. No, yeah, this is Alumilite. They've got a tan out. I know I mentioned that, I think. The black, the tan, the white. And I know Let's Resin has some other, but they're the two-part epoxy, I think. They're not the 10-minute. I think they've got a 10-minute out in black now, if anyone wants to correct me if I'm wrong on that. But I thought they had a 10-minute black out as well. And I've seen they have some colored resin out. But yeah, it is a bit of a shame not living in the States and being able to get what I want here when I want it. This resin has out. I'd like to get that, but again, it's not here in Canada. And the other problem I run into, and I'm sure my other Canadian counterparts can, say the same, is that some of the prices that are put on things when they get into Canada are like, it's crazy. I know we have a different exchange rate, and I know that US dollar is worth more than the Canadian, but I look at some of the prices on things and go, no, I will not be paying for that price for that today. Thank you. But yeah, on Amazon.com, that sander by Let's Resin is $109, and it's around $55 to have that shipped to Canada. And I just can't even. And then I think, well, what's it going to cost when it finally does get on the Amazon.ca website? What are they going to be charging for it then? will it still be around $200 when all is said and done? But I would like to try it. So I don't know. So this is warming up. Again, I don't want to make them very thick. Right, because if you're going to be wearing them, you don't want them very thick. Now these might take a little bit more because of the fact of how the wings are. So I'm really hoping I got enough to make them, and it looks like I'm just going to have enough for this. Yeah, I probably got them about the same, so let's put a bit more in here, because I think what I've got is just enough, really. I don't have... I might have gotten away with 30 mil. That'll be... So I won't do too much with that. I'll just let the rest of that just harden up. I won't be bothered by that. And then what I'm going to do is, I'm trying to think. I think I'll do 60 for the Christmas piece. And hopefully that's enough. It's been a long time since I've done that one. So we'll do 60 and see where we land at the end of the day. So I tell you what, so you don't have to stick around and watch me pour resin again. I'll let you go. We will come back when it is time to get these out of their mold. I will have everything measured up then next to do the ceramic resin so we can see what they're going to look like. I'm probably not going to color the ceramic resin. At least that's not really what I'm thinking of doing. But you know me, that could change too in a heartbeat. So I will just finish cleaning off my hands before I shut off my recorder. And then I'll bring you back when we're ready to take these out. All right, well, let's see how things turned out. I have everything figured out for my ceramic resin. We'll just see how these pieces turned out. So this one didn't quite, so you'll notice here I've got 2 extra pieces that I did. I had, this was going to be too full. This is a homemade mold, so it's definitely not the best that it could be. I did 60 mils and ended up with some in here. I wish I had not put as much in this bat as because I could have used a little bit more in that pumpkin, but that's okay. So 40 maybe would have been enough. Right. So that's what that looks like. Now you'll notice that this has sort of a rough edge to it. That's the way the piece that I used was. It had some glitter and whatnot that had been, I don't know whether it was baked in or just really well glued onto the piece, but that's why we sort of have the roughness on some of these edges. So that's that. I like it. I'm not in love with it though. I think I had hoped that we would have gotten something more flashy with this piece, but that's okay. It'll grow on me. that's the hope anyway. All right. Let's get our pumpkins out. And then I'm going to have to, cut you off again so I can clean up, because I made quite the mess doing these. So we'll flip them over together. We won't let you see them just yet. We'll just get them all out and then we'll flip them, and then I'll let you go again, and then I'll clean up. See, these pieces don't matter. Get rid of that. So that one can go there. Yeah, when I was pouring, you'll notice that, yeah, stuff went everywhere. So I have some cleaning up to do before I put the ceramic resin in it. You can see the glitter on this. I'm looking forward to how these turned out. And yeah, they might be a little thick, so that's something. But again, with these guys, because of the way they bend, the same is with some of the Christmas trees and the molds that I've gotten from Michaels before. Like, depending on how they're making them, you really need to almost fill them up. I know they're meant for, you know, making cakes and whatnot out of, so I get it. But yeah, it's sometimes you have to put more in, which makes it heavier, which may not make it as ideal for earrings. All right, so there's our black pumpkin bat. Yeah, don't you love that? Black on black. How's that working out for you? Some days I have to wonder about myself. So there we've got the black. And I could use some of the PBO I've got. I've also got chrome markers, which may help in making that brighter. And then the same with the pumpkin. It's probably about the thickness that's needed for earrings, right? Because that's not very thick and it's not very heavy, but definitely needs to be decorated. It can't stay black like that. All right, let's see how these guys look. So we're okay putting them on my, those look kind of cool. So thoughts on the pumpkins. Moving them about. I'm gonna make them into earrings because I'm kind of curious to know. Like, they don't feel very heavy, but I do know that it doesn't take a lot for, well, my earlobes to get a little sore. Now this one is definitely thinner, and I like the concept of going thinner with these, again, for the lightness. Oh, that's cool. I do like how those turned out. Totally different, right? Instead of, you know, yeah, they look kind of cool. Just get that little piece off of there that's bothering me. Okay. But those look kind of cool. Again, I'm not sure. I guess I could go thinner. I'm just trying to, let's put them down. They're not, now I've got the little nibs on the bottom of this, so it would definitely have to be sanded. But I think they'd look cool as earrings. I seriously do. I seriously do. I guess the idea is that the wings should be thicker, but I could maybe see how much I could sand them down in order to get them so you could. And then, like I say, I would, no, maybe I'd go like that. I don't know. Or you could definitely make it into a pendant. Like, that would be an easy enough thing to do for these ones. Yeah, you could definitely make that into a pendant. I have to admit, I like how these turned out. I think these look cool. I think that looks cool. And as a necklace, if you could see my neck. But yeah, I could see making that into a necklace if you put a couple of hooks on the back of this, or even into the wings, because they're so, I mean, those are really thick. You could put them in, and then, yeah, sand it down, put some hooks on it, and then make it into a pendant. Yeah, I could see that. These, I do like these too. Those turned out nicely. I like the coloring on that. I am going to check out Gel Moment to see if they have black and orange for chrome colors. I don't have a yellow. Yellow would be another color I would look for too. I know they're like colors, the sky's the limit now. It really is. But yeah, I like how those turned out. Alrighty, I have some cleaning up to do, and then I will come back and we will do the ceramic resin. Alright, I've taken my time. I've cleaned up my molds. Just to let you know, I did look at the Gel Moment website. They don't have a black or orange chrome powder. And then I went on to Amazon and I saw a selection of 48 chrome, and it looked like they had an orange and black. And I was so tempted, and I just went, no. So I might go look at Temu and see what they've got. and see if I can't just get a couple of colors from them instead. All right, now we have the colors we're going to be using for the ceramic resin is the orange from Temu, and I'm also going to use some of the Stampin' Ink Pumpkin Pie. Seems fitting, and that's sort of what the pumpkin pie looks like on my wet wipe, but we know that this is very white and will not necessarily go that bright of a color, but that is okay. So I've got everything measured out. I don't know how far anything's going to take me, so if we have extras, that's totally cool. Again, if you have someone who's a Halloween buff, you could make some of these up and hang them on a black tree if you had. So I know, well, this is going back many years, that I was stunned the first time I had seen a black Christmas tree. And again, I'm going back, oh, I couldn't even tell you how many years, but it was really cool. So if you think of a black Christmas tree and then you were to hang some of these ornaments on, I think these look so cool. I really do. Then, you know, you have something really, really unique. So let's just see what we end up with when we do the ceramic resin. And as usual, I have extra of the water at the side here. And yeah, we'll just see what we can do with this. These I'm going to let sit definitely for an hour, if not a little bit longer. You're used to that with me by now, though. I know you are. I just know you are. Okay, let's get some of this orange in here. So that's about 5 drops of that. Let's get it mixed up. Let's see about adding some of the pumpkin pie. A drop of pumpkin pie. Let's do 2 drops of pumpkin pie. That still almost looks a little bit peachy. So I think we'll add a little bit more in there. Granted, we can paint this, so that's... And I'd kind of like to get a bit of a swirl in here, if I can. So with the next, we'll just swirl this around. 1, 2. Just do the up and down, and then we'll just swirl it. All right. Let's see how far we get. Are you in camera? Yeah. All right. Try not to make these too thick, right? Because I would, you know, if I could make them with this stuff and not have them be too thick, that would be brilliant. I'm starting to dry up a little bit. Yeah. I'll just add a drop of water to that so we don't very very carefully add a drop to it. Oops. Well, that was more than a drop, Natalie. Oh, you try so hard to just do a drop and then you do a little bit more. So we won't do that. So we'll just pour, just trying to decide where I want to go. Yeah, this one's definitely going to take longer to set up. I guess we'll just make this the rest. I have faith that it will set up no problem. It's just going to maybe take a little bit longer, and we'll just sort of, yeah, these guys are a little harder to pounce around, right? Yeah, we'll just leave them. Okay, so we'll let these set up, and when they're ready to be taken out of the mold, then I will be back. Well, I don't know what it feels like to you, but I feel like I've been working on stuff for days, and yet it's only been, really, in my time, it's been 1 day since I started all of this craziness with the Halloween stuff. And as you can see, I've gone a little bit more crazy. I decided that it was time for me to decorate some of the pieces. You know, often I say I'll decorate it and I'll post on my Facebook page, and that doesn't always happen because other things come up for me. So I've taken time with these pieces to actually decorate them up a little bit more. Now you will notice that I have a lot more on my desk here than what we actually started out with, because when we started out, what we worked with was doing the polyurethane. So I'm just going to move some stuff off to the side that's sort of came about after the fact. Boy, is that ever. There's a big difference between those two. Holy, 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 holy. All right. That's, yeah, wow. I can't believe that's, wow. Anyway, I'm sorry. I got sidetracked there because I hadn't realized. So let me just, yeah. Okay. I just want to get the right pieces in the right place so we can do this in a sort of a logical order. All right. Like that, that there. I want to make sure you can see everything, and that, and that. Okay, so sort of forget this to the back, because that's not where we started this magical rem. So I'm going to start with this piece. I had mentioned earlier I wasn't really thrilled with how this had turned out. What I did was I took one of my markers I have in my other room, and I just went through it with it and did gold to separate, divide it up, and I'm hoping you can see that. And it actually, to me, made a huge difference with how it was going to look at the end of the day. So I'm much happier now that I've done that, because it seems to have defined it more. I was going to do silver, but the silver really wasn't working. You couldn't see it very well, so I went with the gold instead. And I went over it a couple of times. So I think it really helps the piece that I did that. I sanded down the back. I don't know what I'm going to do with this just yet, but I wanted to sort of show you what I had figured out for the front, because I definitely knew I needed to do something with it. So hopefully you're seeing that, and you can see what a difference it makes just having done that small little thing to it. Now, the ceramic resin, no, you did not see me take these out of the mold, because I wanted to take it one step further and do some epoxy resin pieces. So that's why this is so clustered right now. Anyway, this is what the ceramic resin, this first pumpkin here, looked like. Just, you know, it's had some time to sit and have the water come out of it. And that's what that looks like. Pretty boring, not much to it. These other two pieces, I've actually used a color shift on them, which I think really kind of helps. You have to watch when you're doing painting and whatnot, because you can have some of it get sort of stuck in. And I'm sure you've all sort of come across that, because I have some spots where I didn't really clean it up very well, and I've got some darker, but even still, does it matter? I don't think so, because it adds a little bit more to it. Yes, I am very picky. I'm getting better at not being so picky with some things, so that's okay. I just wanted to show you what the color shift, and I wanted to see what it would look like on this as well. Okay, and what I like about the color, or not the color shift, but doing the ceramic is, I think you can see you know, the eyes, the nose, and the mouth a little bit better. I do have air pockets in these, but I think you can see a little bit better the eyes and whatnot. And I could have gone over those with a marker like I did these pieces. I'm just adjusting my mic on my shirt here. And then the other thing I did was I used some of my chrome markers to highlight on the, I wanted to say on the butterfly, it's not, on my pumpkin bat, to give it a little more definition, so you could actually see the wings a little bit more. So hopefully that is picking up the gold that I put on that one. And I definitely have to start practicing more with these chrome markers, because I don't have the technique down quite right. And I'd like to get better. And also when I did these, I didn't go right up to the pumpkin head. I sort of stayed away a little bit because I didn't want to get it marking up the actual pumpkin. Would it matter? Probably not, but yeah. So that's our ceramic resin. And then I had a little bit of fun with some of my metallic markers. That's what I've been using. And again, the chrome on the wings. So this is what I did with this guy. Again, I can't tell if you can see, but I used a red in here, the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. I wasn't sure about doing the full mouth inside of it, but again, the outline didn't seem to be enough, and that's why I decided I would add a little bit more. I have to admit, I was not sure I was going to love these molds, but actually the pumpkin bat, I think, is phenomenal. I'm really appreciating that. All right, now, what did I do with this guy? So I'm almost thinking I did two different colors, I think. I don't think I did three. I think I only did two. So that was me decorating this one up. I would probably, again, it's a choice. If you want to look eerie, then I think doing it just once in this big mouth is okay. If you wanted it to look more professional, then I would see about doing it twice. One of the things I want to do with this mold, and I'll do it off camera another time, is to actually go inside this and see how well I can put the color in on, you know, the eyes, the nose, and the mouth, to have it so it's done for me, so I don't have to be doing this finicky work. I want to see about doing that. I actually have some, well, I could do the silver. If I use the polyurethane, I could do the silver on that, the silver chrome, and then pour my black and see how it turns out, if I get a better job of it. And then these two guys I absolutely loved. I'm not sure I picked the right color to go for the eyes, nose, and mouth, but that's okay. I could always go over it with another color if I wanted to. So I'll just bring this guy up a little bit. But I think these would make adorable earrings. I really do. Or a pendant. Or a brooch. Whatever floats your boat. But I think I'm really glad I picked these up, because I think they turned out really nicely. So that's the two of them. And then I went crazy doing some more stuff because I could. Now these guys actually are the black, aren't they? These are the black polyurethane. Okay, bring these guys back up to the forefront then. All right, so for these guys, I didn't do the mouth in, I just outlined it. So you have to let me know in the comments whether you would do it full on, or whether you would just do the outline on the mouth. And you'll notice I didn't do anything on the wings because of the color. That's the holographic silver we used on that. So I'll just get my hand. I don't know if that helps or hinders things, but there you go. I love this. I think this, if I weren't concerned about the weight of them, I think those would make very cool earrings. Very cool earrings. Like really cool earrings. And then I wanted you to see what these would look like with epoxy resin. So let's get these guys out of the way now that you've gotten to see them. Sort of move things for you. I was so thrilled with this. So I wanted to show you, I went into, again, I should really have stock in Michael's, but I don't. So this is some of the Halloween stuff they have out this year. So I picked this up. I don't know. I'm sort of into the black and the pinks. Anyway, this here is what I used for the wings on this one. Now, as you can see, maybe, like it all sunk basically to the bottom, which really doesn't matter at the end of the day for me. But yeah, I was so excited. I did these on my heat mat to warm them up and get them done quicker. But I think these are just so wickedly cool. Yeah, and again, you'll notice the mouth, I just outlined it. I didn't do anything else with it. So I'll see about at some point doing these again and, you know, marking up the eyes and whatnot with chrome powder and then pouring and seeing what transpires for me on that. And it's almost too bad these molds weren't clear so I could actually use UV resin in them, because that'd be kind of cool. The success rate trying to use UV resin in a colored mold is, pretty much slim. All right. And this guy was just plain resin with some alcohol ink in it. And this, again, I did the mouth full on that one. Again, I'm really hoping you can see this. Let me bring them up. Down and in. There you go. Maybe that's too close, I don't know. And then I still had lots of resin left over, so I made myself just some random earrings. Okay, using the red chrome on that. I got some cleaning up to do on those. And then I don't know how I managed to have these be like different thicknesses. Like, wow. It just seems like there's quite a bit of difference between the two of them. Not that that's going to help you any, but they're definitely not the same thickness. And then for these guys, that's a combination of these two. These have got bats in them. I don't know if you can see them, but there are bats in this panel here. This has just got stars in it as far as I know. And then obviously, if I use these ones, I'm going to have to do them in something that I can lay them out. My bats weren't falling very well into these red earrings. They didn't do too bad in those. And then there are these that are just pure funkiness and glitter. These I want to go around the outside, either with my chrome marker or get something else that I can put around just to make it a little more interesting. And the only thing I have to admit that I don't like about these earring molds are they're so thick that getting a jump ring that actually works with them, I struggle with that. I almost need to make my own for these because of the thickness of them. Because some of the jump rings I've got, I mean, they're really big jump rings, but they're also very thick as a result. And then these are nothing special, these two little pieces here. I just had some leftovers. And then these guys definitely needed to have the faces done on them so you could actually see them. And again, not sure I picked the right color, and if I wanted to be really picky, I could go back and do them again. The other thing I had wondered about was foils, metallic foils in there, but yeah, a bit trickier. So let me just bring one of these guys up, and then that'll be the end of this video, and it is a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. So hopefully that helps you to see what I did. But I think these are really cool. But again, I think doing the chrome powders on the inside would definitely help when it came to being able to see the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. So that is it. So I got a lot done, even though you didn't get to see some of it. But yeah, I am loving this pumpkin bat mold. I think it's very cool. And I might see about making some earrings and just seeing how long I can wear them before my My ears don't like me. That isn't too bad from a weight perspective, but I think I'd much rather have it in resin if I were going to do that. If it were a pendant, it wouldn't matter, or a brooch. The weight wouldn't matter. But there you have it. Some ideas for you if you happen to pick up this particular mold from Michaels. I was almost tempted to buy myself some of the bigger molds, but I am being good. Not going to do it. Anyway, that is it. That's all I've got for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Again, thank you for watching, showing up. We've hit 1,200 subscribers, and I'm really happy about that. That happened over the last few days. And we will carry on with probably another Halloween video on Thursday, because I'd like to try and get another one out for Thursday for you. Anyway, take care. Be creative. Thank you for showing up. Bye for now.